not going to use them because I find when I use them, I'm
Get self-conscious?
No, I'm under the illusion that I'm projecting and stuff, because you sound good in headphones.
Uh-huh.
And then you hear it back and you're like, you realize you're going like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Hey.
So it makes me put out, because I don't.
Wait, it makes you put out?
It makes me put out. I'm just out for anything.
Really?
Without headphones on. So.
This is exciting already.
Yeah, and it's not even 9:30.
I know, it's so early.
Thank you for doing this.
Yeah,
early.
thank you. I got this on your account. He's just Trump giving you the finger.
That's Trump. I couldn't tell.
I
if
know,
that was
it's
Trump
really
or it's like Trump. It's every horrible old.
You really need the box with it,
because it looks like
just
Trump and a little bit of Jeff Sessions and every fucker.
Well, I was gonna gift wrap it and give it to you, but Ehud wants it as a permanent member of the podcast. So
I think that's good.
Yeah.
I actually.
What are you gonna do with this anyway? Really?
I had until.
What are we gonna do with it?
Trump himself gave me. In 2004, there was like
herpes
dolls. He gave me herpes. No,
Trump himself.
The weird.
Wait, that's getting us banned. Just even saying that.
No, I know.
Let alone having
but
you on, Dave. This is the 5th episode in, and we're already gonna get banned.
No,
yes,
I mean
we're fine with it. We don't care.
The thing is, I'm on the right side of history.
I agree.
And no, but I met Trump in 2004 when he was just a game show host.
Mm-hmm.
I was hired to write during the celebrity ringtone craze of 2004. I was hired by a couple corporations like Verizon and another one, like who were making all these celebrity ringtones. And like, will you write ringtones for Donald Trump? And this is, are we podcasting yet?
I think we are, yeah.
Okay,
I hope so, because then this would be a bunch of wasted effort.
Yeah. Well, like, so it was right. I've still never seen The Apprentice, but it was right when that show was taking off, I guess. And so I assumed that I would just write some variation on "You're Fired," and that would be the ringtones that he would do. But if you need any more reason why this guy shouldn't be in charge of anything, he failed to negotiate the rights to "You're Fired." He wasn't allowed to say. NBC owned the catchphrase "You're fired."
Oh, really?
So he wasn't allowed to say it, so I had to like come up with other things for him to say. But I wrote these ringtones.
What is the ringtone? It just said.
It's like him going like, "Pick up the phone. You might be a great business opportunity." And I needed the money. But again, this is 2004, before a long time ago.
Did he actually record the vocals for it?
Yeah, and I thought, I'm just going to do these and email. I don't have them. I assumed I was just going to write them and email them, and then they'd send me a check. Verizon, or it's like Verizon and Warner Music Group did this together. But then they were like, "Oh, we want you to come to Donald Trump's office when we record these with him, so you can kind of be there and help it in whatever way." And so I went to his office, and
you met him.
I met him. I had met him once before, like a year prior. VH1 had hired me to. They were, they do those clip shows, and then talking heads go like, that was
80s?
Crazy. Yeah.
Or the 90s.
So they were doing one on crazy red carpet moments.
Mm-hmm.
And so they sent me to the NBC upfronts to be a weirdo to celebrities, so they would get weird. They didn't have enough footage to make their show, so they wanted me to provoke gently, in a friendly way, to get weird reactions. And so I met him, and I genuinely didn't know he had a TV show. This would have been like 2003. And I was like, "You have a TV show? Like, who? Are you serious?" And he was like, anyway. But I did go to his office a year later, and it's absolutely as horrible as you can imagine.
Meaning what? There's cocaine everywhere?
A blind decorator. It's like a blind decorator had been given an unlimited budget and told they'd never work in this town again.
Lots of gold things.
I can't speech. Everything's gold. And, it's just horrible. And Anyway, but when I was there, they gave me his books and a talking Trump doll, and I had the doll.
So
up
you already
until-
have a doll. So
No, I
this would've
threw it
been- This
out.
would have been redundant.
I threw it out. I was making videos every few months for another video that I made, a comedy video that I think is still on YouTube. I bought a massive dildo. So I sold the dildo.
Just for the video or for
Another video.
also
No, it was like
home
one of those
entertainment, or
dildos that like serves that if anyone can make use of it, I'd sure like to meet him or them.
no comment.
Whatever. Yeah, no, it was this monstrous dildo I bought on
Challenge accepted.
No, it was just it was just very large, and I had it in
Do
a
tell more,
comedy video.
Dave.
But I made all these Instagram videos where I would beat the crap out of the Donald Trump doll with a massive dildo. And then I was cleaning my apartment recently. I decided I was just gonna really clean the fuck out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And my girlfriend had been like, the two most annoying things, because she's like, "Would you throw this fucking dildo out?" She didn't say fuck. She's a lady. She doesn't swear, but she's like, "Get rid of this dildo and get rid of this Trump doll, because like they're just like
are just
annoying,
weird energy."
And I was like, "Well, I might need the dildo for one of my humorous comedy videos, and I need the Trump doll so I can beat it with the dildo." And then it's like a month ago, I threw them both out.
Yeah. And
I
how
had
did you
time to
go?
move on.
How'd you go about throwing those out? Like, did
I
you,
put them in a
you
bag.
put them in did 2 bags or just 1 bag? Just a
They
normal
made. I think it was the same bag.
double bag or
Well, you got to put the massive dildo. If you're gonna throw out a dildo, you should put it in a bag. That's just
definitely.
That's just
polite.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I mean that just goes without saying.
So
I think you double the bag, by the way.
double. Yeah.
Yeah.
Double. You don't want.
I mean, you just don't want anyone finding that.
No, and the Trump doll. I thought for a while to like hang it, but out my window like with a noose. But I was like, I don't want any more trouble.
Yeah.
It's too
Yeah, that's,
overt.
that is too overt, I think.
And I don't want him.
Assassinated or
No,
anything.
no. I just want him to go back to
being a game show host.
Yes.
Yeah, he's entertaining as that.
I had no problem with him as that. I never saw it myself, but I'm sure it was fine.
If the presidency was
kinda
a
like-
show, he's entertaining as a president.
Yeah.
That's true. That
You
is
know, if
that is
it was
undeniable.
a
He's a
TV
pretty
show,
good.
he's
He's a
awesome.
pretty good stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
That's
No?
I think you're going too far.
Okay, fair enough. Do you have any Twitter withdrawals?
No, I mean honestly, how long has it been since Thursday? No, it's been over a week from suspended to permanent ban. So the day after Memorial Day is really what pushed it over the edge, as it so often does. And
What, your mama jokes?
well, I had sort of backed off on the Yamama jokes for a while, and then
I just read them, some of them, and they just seem like
it's
goofy
it's
fun. It's
literally that
it's
was
just crazy, like that gets you banned. I mean, I was expecting worse, to be honest, because he literally just sent them to me, and I was like, I couldn't even get through them because it was just like, okay, these are just mildly amusing your mama jokes.
No,
I mean,
yeah.
they're funny.
No, but that's
the
the
point. I'm not
point.
dissing or anything,
No.
but it's like, come on, it's like we're banning this guy for this. This is crazy.
I mean, that was the whole point of them. Like they're not.
And I bet you the people who received them thought they were funny. Like I bet it was like.
people were, I read.
Oh,
I read
really?
the
People were
replies.
very angry, but
And
there
some
was
of the replies were worse. Were like they were threatening.
I think people just
you.
need to lighten up in general. I really, really do. On both sides of the political equator.
Yeah,
I mean, and I don't like it when people like even Alex Jones gets banned or things. I don't agree with that. I think I like freedom of speech. You know, I just think it's like shouldn't be banning people off of out of the counties. You know, whatever, out of this county square. How do you say that?
the town
Town
whatever.
square, whatever. Like,
But I just think
what do you
you
think
know.
of that? Do you think Alex Jones should have been banned?
I don't pay any attention to him, so I know he's a nut job, and I know he thinks that like juice boxes turn people gay, and there's
Yeah,
frogs that make people gay or something.
I don't know either.
I
just
don't follow him.
I don't like the idea of banning people off of platforms, whether they're
No.
liberal or conservative. I think it sets a dangerous precedent, and
No, I agree
and it's
with
a slippery
that.
slope.
And I think
you could hate Alex Jones all you want. That's fair enough. Then just tune out. But I feel like freedom, like the whole thing of like, I don't have to agree with what you say, but I'll fight to the death for that.
Yeah.
Whole, who said that?
I believe it was.
None of us know. I didn't go to college.
It was Don Dokken, I think.
George Lynch
It
said
was George Lynch.
It was
said
George
it.
Lynch, and then
Ronnie
Dokken, and then Dokken stole it from George Lynch, and that's what broke up
that
Dokken.
Yeah, that's why we. That's why we are where we are.
That's why we're at where we're at. Remember that skeleton guitar George Lynch had?
Yeah, it's called.
was killer.
I think Mr. Scary. I think.
You're right.
I know. Believe me, if this could be a whole other podcast, I could talk about
Oh, no,
George Lynch and Dokken all day.
Oh yeah, I like Warren D. Martini.
I'm not a high five guy, but I will.
Oh, we're not
high-five
high-fiving?
No, we are. We
Oh,
are.
I thought
Warren D. Martini, to me, is the
so
Keith
cool.
Richards.
He was the
of
Keith
hair
Richards
metal.
of the '80s.
hair-
For sure.
He and I still. You get a couple drinks in me, I'm going on eBay, Reverb, or whatever, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I should probably get the Warren D. Martini Charvel with the
I
swords.
used to have a Charvel.
I just bought because I'm just living now.
Yeah.
I bought a Jackson.
Yeah, I want a Jackson with an upside down headstock.
They are available, but the thing about Jacksons, because I was like, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna like really do it and get like a full on USA Jackson, which are really expensive.
Actually, they were. Yeah, those were really nice.
But like, and they're like a sports car. Because my friend had one, and I was like, because I play like an SG, Les Paul, like the classics, Telly. But then like,
I just got it.
you want to keep a slut around the house. No, I don't know. It's like
no, a Jackson's like a high class slut. A Charvel's just a slut.
Yeah, but but the thing about the Jacksons is like the kind of person that throws down on an expensive Jackson. Like those are unstable people. So like they're just like their lives are in chaos. If you're going like, yeah, I'm gonna spend $3,000 on a snakeskin Jackson.
Yeah.
And then that same guy is gonna have to unload that Jackson one day for nothing.
Right.
Because he's living on the edge.
He's living a dream.
And that's where I strike.
That's what's
right.
right.
Really? The resale value on Jacksons is just
You
non-existent?
wouldn't believe it. So I bought like a $3,000 Jackson for
This is good.
$1,000.
This
But
is good information.
I met a guy in a parking lot in New Jersey on my
Uh-huh.
way to visit my dad in Cleveland.
Oh yeah, you're from. I'm from Ohio.
Where
as
are
well.
you from?
Akron.
Oh, nice.
Same high school as the Black Keys and Christie
Sweet.
High.
I go to Akron all the time.
Yeah.
I'm going there in August for Earthquaker Day.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
Earthquaker
Earthquaker devices. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw. Yeah, you did a video pimping one of their pedals.
Yeah, I pimp.
Sorry,
I'm-
I don't know why I said it that way. It just came.
It sounded good.
It came into my brain that way, and
sounded cool.
I had a minute where I was like, it wasn't a minute, but like a second where I was like, don't say that, and I said it anyway.
No, we're saying
you know that
pimping.
thing?
We're high fiving. We're talking about Jackson guitars like everyone knows what we're saying.
I
We're
mean,
just
if
gone
you
off the
don't-
rails.
Well, yeah, we were talking about freedom of speech, which
so
does
anyway,
seem more
in
relevant.
summation,
But I do think
I-
you're on the right side of history in that I think you're preventing a civil war in getting the liberals are getting banned as well is maybe not a bad thing.
Well,
'Cause
I
then
think-
both sides can't say we're the only ones getting banned.
I think that's
know what I mean?
exactly
He's
why I was
taking one
banned.
for the
I
team.
do think that is why you're banned too. I actually
I've talked
think
to my manager,
I
and
think
she's
you were
like,
yeah
they're just doing this
They're
because
doing
they
it
need to.
to compensate.
But the thing that I don't
Which
like,
I'm glad they're doing it. I'm not glad they're doing it to you. I think they should just stop banning people straight up, unless you
I
just
will
are
say,
just insanely
think
crazy. Which somebody would say, well, Alex Jones is insanely crazy. Okay, fair enough. And I'm not an Alex Jones fan. He might be a shill. He might be psyop. I don't know. Like it's all it's all a big
he's
conspiracy.
a knob. I mean,
whatever. It does. It's just that as soon as he got banned, and I bring him up because he was like the first major like figure to get
he's
banned.
all platforms.
Banned on all platforms. I was like, this is wild. Like, and then I was surprised, and I remember I like instantly like Instagram tweeted or whatever like something about freedom of speech, and it was like crickets. Like nobody agreed, and I'm like, really? Nobody
Well-
nobody's spooked by this at all. And it just seemed like, and then one after the other, people are getting banned, and I'm like, okay. And then I got scared to even speak up. I'm like, I'm just gonna shut.
Well, that's
the
the
fuck
thing.
up.
Like you know,
It's like anyway.
that's kind of why what inspired me. I mean, there's a number of reasons but basic attention of like, you know, if you're a kid in the back of the class and the teacher's like, if you throw an eraser again, you're gonna have to have detention. But all the other kids laughed when you do it, so that's partly what motivated me to do these stupid 5th grade mother jokes. Which truly, if you read them, there's not even profanity. It's like literally what.
No, but there does seem to be like an unconscious self-destructive aspect to it. Like you were kind of, well, just maybe you're kind of a punk rocker on some level. I would say
every level.
On every level.
I mean, you know,
you're like a Christian punk rocker.
A Christian?
I don't know. I thought you were religious.
Chris.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to I didn't mean to like say you're Christian.
No. I mean,
And by the way,
I'm Catholic. I wouldn't.
Yeah, okay.
I don't say I was raised Catholic because I think if you were.
I think Jesus was a punk rocker.
Oh, absolutely.
Total
I mean,
punk rocker.
like,
So
I
no
think,
diss coming from me
I
to call
think
you a
No. I mean, I
Christian
believe.
punk rocker.
I'll say, I fully believe in the teachings of Christ.
Me too.
And that's what mystifies me with this. You know, fundamentalist, the right-wing Christians.
Yeah,
is the
exactly.
Basic teachings of Christ, and I think you
know.
can follow the teachings of Christ as an atheist, as an agnostic.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, absolutely. And I love Hinduism too. And
Right.
then when, you know, and as somebody who believes in the teachings of Christ, then if you like, you know, hardcore Christians too, if you practice yoga, think you're doing some kind of evil nonsense. And I'm like, really?
Right.
Are you serious? Because I think Christ was a yogi.
totally.
I'm going to go ahead and say that.
Absolutely. And like, you know, and it all comes down to just basic, like, I remember being 5, 6, 7 or whatever, and being with my dad, we were like driving somewhere, and I was like, isn't like the whole point of every religion just be nice to each other and
Yeah,
just be good?
exactly.
And he's like, yeah, that's pretty much it. Because
Yeah.
I'm like, why are we going to confession and all these things? Which I guess confession would be a couple,
Yeah.
7 or 8. But I don't. It's pretty much what I think today. I don't really think any differently.
And why do people, like, when they believe in something, think they know it's true? Like, because I believe in a creator or whatever, but I don't know it's true. I don't, like, I like, tend to believe in Christ, but I don't know it's true. Like, and,
Well,
like,
that's where
same thing with
faith comes in.
Exactly,
You know?
but same thing with, like, atheists, when they know there's, you know, it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
come on, none of y'all know anything.
I know.
You know what
that's-
I
well,
mean?
that's
Like,
the
why are
thing,
y'all
like-
acting like you know something? None of us know shit. You know what I mean? It's like you can kind of believe some stuff, and that's cool. And then, but you don't act like you know.
Right.
You don't know.
It's absurd.
It's absurd. It's not. The science explanation is suddenly there was an explosion. And then I tend to believe something can't come from nothing, so my reason tells me there's a creator. And then my heart does too.
Yeah,
And
I'm
that's
with
where
you on
and
that.
that's where I go with it. But, like, you know, I don't know there is. I don't know anything.
Yeah, and that being said, I'm
I just
totally
know
up
Free
for,
Dave Hill.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I do know.
Yeah.
Is hashtag Free
What-
Dave
what
Hill,
else
y'all.
is there? But yeah, I mean, religion. I'm up for anyone believing whatever they want, as
Yeah.
long as it doesn't fuck with
Me too.
anyone's life.
Exactly.
You know, and you know,
As long
going
as
back
you're not
to,
hurting people.
Right.
I put my foot down. If you're trying to hurt someone, you're to me, you're evil.
Mm-hmm.
And I still forgive you for being evil because it was probably some fucked up shit that happened to you that made you that way.
Right.
But still, that's the only time I get judgy, is if you're trying to hurt somebody.
Yeah, and
Then
I
I'm
don't,
judgy.
I don't understand like having the energy to.
Well, it's
To hurt
I can
somebody.
explain that
Okay.
because I've done a lot of research on this.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I'm practically a doctor in this field. Yeah.
Bring it on.
Okay. The reason why, Dave, is because they don't have a dream. You have it. You have. In fact, Dave, you have so many dreams.
Too
and
many
you're
dreams.
Yeah, and you're good at a lot of them.
Thank you. Within reason.
All of
you
them,
know.
actually. It's hard to research you, dude, because
you know,
there's too many things to cover.
people say that, but I think it's actually simple.
Yeah.
I'm just like every other comedian, doing stand-up, writing,
Mm-hmm.
acting when they'll let me, and drawing attention to myself in whatever ways it pays the bills. And then
Yeah.
on top of that, I play in bands,
But
which
if-
is what I did first.
And if you don't have those outlets, I don't believe any human is not creative. I think all humans are like creative and capable of genius. And if they don't,
totally
if they
agree.
don't give it a outlet like some kind of creative outlet of the typical, all the ones I could list, then they go towards evil.
Yes.
And then they fuck with the people that do have those outlets because they're pissed off about it, because that's the ultimate thing to envy. It's like the story of Joseph in the Bible where his family was jealous of his connection with God.
I was just talking about this, and when you look at so many of the people, in history who have done some bad shit, and the people out there today spreading hate and things. I mean, Hitler, failed artist.
Right.
If his portfolio had gotten a bit better received, it could have changed history.
Could have changed history.
And then you look at Kellyanne Conway, and any number of, without even naming these people, these alt-right, right-wing nut jobs, many of them have a past as trying to be comedians and failing.
Is that right?
Yeah, I'm not going to go into naming them, but
Name names, Dave.
It's pretty easily.
Kellyanne,
There's
was she-
footage of her. Yeah, she
Really?
was a stand-up. The crying Nazi.
Really? She doesn't seem funny in any way. But
No, but I mean, like,
I had
there's
no idea.
yeah, there's
didn't know that either.
no shortage. I mean, Tom Sharpling a few years ago tweeted something like, every one of these alt-right guys would drop it in a second for a role on a sitcom, and I absolutely believe that.
Oh yeah.
Like, it would just be like, oh, I can have what I wanted all along.
Right.
Oh, okay.
I can put the rage away.
You're because I don't
Yeah,
have to.
envy is a powerful motivator towards evil.
Totally.
Yeah.
And getting back to what you were saying about creativity, I think, like when I know this has been said a million times before, but every little kid is an artist, and when you're in grade
Every little
school.
kid is an artist.
There you go. We just wrote your next hit.
Every little kid is a champ.
Okay. I mean,
Every little kid is an artist.
this was the breakdown
Give
section.
it to them. Send your money to the little kids.
.org.
.org.
But like when it's like everyone, most kids, I think when they're 5 or whatever, you like to draw and paint and do
Every
whatever.
little kid likes to draw.
There's now second verse.
Kid is anyway. My mic went out. Oh, that was like God telling me, like, shut up, dude.
But then at some point they'll tell, like, I was lucky when I was 5 or 6 because that was my first thing or whatever.
I was lucky.
Oh,
when
man.
I was 5 or 6.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
How are we doing on time?
You know. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, but like they go like, oh, you know how to draw a turkey. You're the artist in the class or whatever. And then like every
you know how to draw.
every kid is like
Okay.
meant to is made to feel like, oh, I guess I can't draw because they told that kid that he's the artist in the class, and
Yeah.
then everyone kind of falls off.
Yeah, that's
which is
true.
what like. But when I was like 5, they were like, oh, Dave, you can draw.
Yeah.
And so I was me and like one other kid in the whole first grade or whatever. We're like, oh, we need someone to draw something for the whatever.
that's,
We'll ask these 2 kids, and
Yeah.
everyone else thinks they suck, and that's I think horrible.
Yeah, that's kind of it carries on through life like that.
I mean, I don't know.
No, it's hard
but
to be an
going
artist,
back
though.
to like,
Do
it
you-
is. But
I mean, do you have a problem with that, like believing in yourself or like confidence issues? I mean,
yeah,
I think stand-up comedy takes like the most confidence on some level.
or delusion.
more
I think
than
it
music.
Takes, I think it. Yeah, I agree with that.
You
I mean,
know?
because music, you have, often you have other guys or people
Well, yeah.
in your band.
And you're not dependent on audience reaction every
No,
second.
you can look at your feet. You have if you play the guitar, you have a big.
And if the audience doesn't applaud, you can go right into the next song.
Yeah, and you have a weapon covering. You have a big plank of wood covering.
It's like a cod
your
piece.
balls. Yeah, like you're like, okay, on a like a primal level, my genitals are covered.
Yeah, and also it's like a genital representative on some level
totally,
too. It's
totally.
and it's a giant version of it.
Yeah, well, that goes back to like a problem that I have with a lot of music today is I think at some point, I think every art, whether you're painting or you're writing, and whether you're a man, woman, or whatever, however you define yourself, the audience or the person reading or viewing or listening or seeing what you're doing, there should be at least subconsciously, like when that person walks on stage, whether it's a female folk artist or like a arena rock band or whatever the thing is, the audience should go like, oh man, I think they're trying to fuck me, like like the guitar.
Yeah.
Not that you're consciously spreading that, but like art is there's a sexual element to it, no matter what I think you're doing.
No, absolutely. The creative energy. I mean, it's creative energy.
The
it's
life force.
You kind of have a joke about it, which is like, what part of No Don't I Understand?
Oh yeah, from my first album.
Yeah, what part of No Don't I Understand? And it's like, the kind of is a comedic bit about nofap or brahmacharya on some level. Not to go too deep with it.
I don't know what a brahmacharya is, but I feel like I do.
You know what nofap is?
That means you're not supposed to masturbate.
Well, yeah, you don't. You hold. It's like semen retention.
Oh,
so you're like holding holding that energy.
Oh yeah, I've heard about it.
It's actually really great.
I think Rocky did that. Oh, so you do that?
Oh yeah, I do it. Yeah.
Like, are you on a schedule?
I'm on a streak right now.
What are we talking?
Dude, we're talking nearly a month.
Oh my gosh.
No, for real.
I would be struggling to get down the block.
You got to do things. You got to do like breath of fire.
Right.
I do yoga. I run. I box. I'm starting a podcast. I mean, how do you think I have the confidence to do this?
That's true.
I would be like under my bed in the fetal position crying right now if it wasn't for nofap.
I agree with that. Like, if I have a show, I mean, like in Rocky.
Yeah.
But I think it's the same thing. Like, I would not. I want to retain, but if I have a show or something, or any sort of performance,
right? Like, you're not going to do that right before you go on stage.
No,
then you just be like,
because I'm going to, I'm saving that for I'm not going to ejaculate on the audience literally, but
no,
I want my energy to spring forth.
You visualize it coming back up through your spine and into your brain and opening your pineal gland.
Sure. I was going to say that.
Yeah. This is the kind of stuff I do.
I agree with you. I don't think I am as resolute about it as you are. But I applaud it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't need your applause, Dave.
I know you don't. Which that's
because
why
I practice nofap.
I know. No, but I think you're right, and I think it's
I've gone down those YouTube healing modality rabbit holes, and it takes you to nofap.
It eventually all roads
lead to nofap.
Well, it's all the same road basically. It goes back to energy.
Yeah.
But the same thing I'm talking about with performance goes chi, whatever you want to call it, the life force.
It's that.
The now.
What's it like? What was it like being on Priority Records, by the way?
Oh, wow, you've really done a deep dive.
Deep dive. Well, that's Ice Cube's label, right?
Well, he was on Priority.
So to me, that's
Records.
huge.
It was huge.
I mean, actually,
it was really cool.
Me and my friend, who I was in high school with, I had like one friend, and we would play his Charvel and Jackson guitar at lunch every day.
Your friends, not Ice Cube.
Not Ice Cube, but then we would also listen to Ice Cube. I don't know why I connected them, but there was Charvel guitars and Ice Cube was like my high school.
That sounds like a paradise to me.
And then we were nerds. So what was it like, Priority Records?
Well, that was my first band. We were signed to Priority. It was primarily hip. They they distributed Death Row Records for a
Yeah.
while. They were fully like Snoop, NWA, Ice Cube, and all that, sort of stuff. And so, but there was an era in the 90s when they were like, let's sign some rock bands and see how that goes.
Oh, I see.
So
So
they
you weren't
s-
doing kind of like a rap thing?
No, no, no,
Oh,
no,
okay.
no. I'm from the suburbs,
So?
east side suburbs
What about
of Cleveland.
Eminem?
He's got it covered.
Midwestern.
He's got it covered. I think if someone has something covered, I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
It's why I don't. I try to fill the spaces. I don't. What's the point of
That
doing
aren't
what's
filled.
that being?
I'm
mean,
gonna become
yes
a
and
hip hop
no.
star when I'm 50. That's my idea.
Why not?
Post 50 hip hop.
Why not? I mean, don't you think like
My metabolism slowing way down. I'm walking all over this town. Yo.
you have the skills,
It's the yo.
but to answer, I want to go back and answer a few of the questions I haven't answered. Priority Records.
Sorry,
It
I
was
go all
cool.
over the place.
No, I do too, and I never finished the thought.
ADD without speed. I don't take drugs.
Me neither.
No.
I mean, I have
Except
some
for
drinks, coffee,
Yeah,
and I have some drinks.
I don't do that either. No fap.
I don't do it a lot. I can't. I just I'm dainty, I can.
You are dainty.
I can drink a lot. I just can't go about my business the next day.
Right.
So I just like to have a couple drinks with dinner maybe.
Yeah.
But Priority Records, okay.
Okay.
It was cool and it was exciting because we were just pretty young things right out of school, and we were like, oh my gosh, we're on the same label as Ice Cube. The NWA is one of the greatest hip hop groups of all time, and now that's my for me, like, I love the NWA and the early Public Enemy records and all that. So we were super psyched. We tried to get Ice Cube to be in one of our music videos, and I think they asked, he had sort of like a spiritual advisor named Brother Ron, I believe,
word
at
that
the
he
time.
went through like a kind of a Muslim thing, right?
Yeah, so this is during
I
that
remember
time, and I think they asked Brother Ron, if I'm getting that name right, and he said,
Yo, Brother Ron.
no thank you. And
Brother Ron
which we
suggested he doesn't do
respected.
that.
Yeah, because we were like, yeah, good for him. Like, he's not going to cheapen himself by being in this video by a
So
bunch
you were
of guys.
testing Ice Cube's credibility?
Yeah, I was like, well, you passed the test. We respect you even more for
Yeah.
saying no. But
I wish I wasn't a people pleaser.
he.
Anyway, that was an aside. Keep going.
I'm thinking about that. But anyway,
sorry.
but I did meet the Lynch Mob or the Lynch Mob. I did meet those guys. But so answering your question about Twitter withdrawals.
Wait, where are we?
Where are we?
Okay, let's go
I'm
with Twitter
jumping
withdrawals.
around.
Go for
to
it.
answer your
I like
you asked
jumping
like
around.
20 minutes ago. But I feel like it's important. I think it's great because the only thing I cared about Twitter for really, where I'm kind of like, I would like to have the option, is to be like, hey, Denver, still a few tickets left to my Denver show.
Well, of course, that's why I'm this.
Yeah.
That's why I'm legit this, because, dude, you're an artist, and that's, anyway, I just think deplatforming sucks.
Yeah, and I have a book coming out.
Yeah.
My third book is coming out October 8th, Parking the Moose, Penguin Random House. And I can't tweet that, even though you can pre-order it now.
Plug it.
What
Plug
about
it.
recruiting some like?
Is
famous
John
friends?
Oliver going to help? Free Dave Hill, John
I don't
Oliver?
think I have not pestered him about this.
Because you did write the greatest theme song
Of all time.
of all time.
Pretty much.
I'm serious. It's really good.
Thank you. That's so
And
nice
so
to
John
hear.
Oliver,
But I feel you shouldn't
Hook your
pester
brother-
him. He should be on
hook
top
a
of
brother
that.
up.
Well, the thing with
Get on the right side of history, John Oliver.
but the thing is,
Free Dave
I
Hill.
think in a direct, I mean, I will say I've been thrilled with people's support of because for that reason, because I think it is bullshit that I can't.
It is bullshit.
I can't promote. I mean, I have Instagram and Facebook, and I think ultimately the way Twitter works and the algorithms, I don't know how helpful it is in spreading the word about anything.
It's
But it would be nice to have the option as
Of
an
course.
artist, and
Yeah.
hopefully I'll get it back. But I don't. I think me being banned, like Dave Hill was banned, it's like, who cares really?
I care.
You care? No, I mean,
I care a great deal about it.
I care.
All kidding aside, I actually think it's important, and I think
it's very.
I actually care a lot about it.
In the big picture, in the way that I think you're saying, in the big picture,
Yeah.
the dialogue about it and what it represents and what's happening, I think it's super important.
It's very important.
Is it important on the micro level of this comedian who has can fill a basement anywhere in the world? Is it going to hurt my ability to travel the world and play in little theaters and basements? No, I don't think so.
You're still building. You're still building. And that's the point.
Yeah. No, I agree, and I think it's absolute bullshit. And
you're just entering your prime, Dave Hill.
This is true, and it does bum me out on that level. But, most people have, on that level, been like, just like, fuck that, Twitter's, some comedians I talk to, I can't remember, one friend was saying, this other guy gave some interview, and he said, it's like, that platform is going to, crumble for artists because it's not a healthy and safe place. Because you say one thing and people use it to try to destroy you. They get you, because, Sam Cedar, a great comedian and radio host, he made some harmless joke years ago, and the right-wing nuts went after it, dug it up from 5 years ago, and said he said this, made a joke about having sex with a child, and it was obviously an absurd
joke.
It's just satirical. It was not, and he got booted from a show that he was a regular pundit on, and I think they eventually had him back, but it's like people are so quick to
it's quick judgment,
and it's absolutely
no trial, it's just no jury,
and and that concerns me, that because people that don't know the absolutely ridiculous and hilarious and stupid, intentionally stupid thing that got me booted might assume oh, well, he must have done something really bad.
No, that's why I was when I read the tweets, I'm like, are you kidding? This is
How
we're
many
too sensitive for this.
A little over 55,000.
That's a lot.
And 55,000 outraged people out there.
Yeah, I mean, people. Who's
people
been
are afraid to speak up. Because
comedians. Almost no comedians.
Yeah.
Have said a word about it.
I know, that's weird. And I saw that Tom Segura follows you, right? Tom Papa,
but do they know?
Is that him?
Yeah, a lot of them know, but
no, Tom Papa's different.
No, Tom Papa's a great friend of mine.
Oh yeah.
Well, we're here to spread the word. Do people know that you got banned if they don't follow you on Instagram? I
think probably most people are like, oh, he got, because a lot of times comedians and people get suspended.
But your manager did say, hey, they're using you as a sacrificial lamb. That was discussed.
She thought so, yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
So, but no, I think probably most people don't know if that is permanent.
I only know because I follow you on Instagram. If you would have disappeared off Twitter, it would have been he's taking a break or.
Right. And I think that's probably what most people think. But I was talking to a comedian friend of mine yesterday, and I was like, what does everyone, because the paranoid comedian mind goes, does everyone hate me? My friends all hate me? Yeah. Why didn't they tweet about it? And he said, I did and some other people did, but I think the majority of people were like, whoa, I don't want to touch that because I don't want to get in trouble.
I know. It's weird. That's the point. I'm like, man, are we Americans or what?
Created.
That's what I'm saying. It's time to start, getting a little bit more bolder about all this stuff. Because if when they come for you and nobody's, when they came for Dave Hill and nobody spoke out.
Yeah, right. It's almost similar to what happened to Kevin Hart when they dug those tweets from so long ago, and he's like, I'm having no part of this discussion, and he sort of took himself out of it.
He can afford to do that.
Yeah, I'm saying, but if that's a bannable offense, sort of to what he wrote, and he's sort of I'm not dealing with you guys. This is so long ago. This was a joke,
right?
And let's move on.
Yeah, and not to. Well, I'm directly comparing it to that, but a lot of these people, the stuff I said was just dumb. It was not.
Yeah,
it was not
just goofy. It's just goofy.
Could not be described as any sort of hate
No,
anything.
not
it was
hate,
just
not
it was
juvenile.
juvenile and just
absurd,
and funny and weird and stupid.
But maybe
That's
the
it.
butthole.
The
threw it
butthole
over
thing.
the top.
No, it was definitely that's what threw it over the edge.
They're in the there. I will take credit for being a genius.
I'm glad you do that. Well played, sir. Well
I'm
played.
not going to deny that I'm a genius. I mean, come on.
Yeah, why should we? I'm going to throw we in that.
Yeah,
mix,
no,
too.
you are a genius.
Why should we?
I wouldn't. I'd still be here.
No, you wouldn't.
If I thought you weren't a genius,
If you thought I was a hack.
No, I probably wouldn't have. But
Do you ever practice EFT?
what is that? I want in.
Emotional freedom technique.
No, we gotta hang out more. Cause
I would love to, Dave. I
cool
need more
stuff.
cool friends.
I'm pretty cool.
Listen, here's
You're cool,
Here's
though. You
EFT. Ready?
What's going on?
I'm really great. I'm gonna do really great on my interview with Dave Hill. I'm gonna have fun and be inspired when I interview Dave Hill. I love myself. I'm really great. I love you. I love you. I love you. I'm happy to be here. I'm healthy. I'm doing really great when I'm interviewing Dave Hill. Let's pick a life purpose card or a dragon card.
I like that.
What do you think? Which do you want to?
Whoa, my LaCroix.
No. Which do you want to pick? Life purpose or dragon deck?
What's the dragon deck? The life purpose sounds more up my alley.
And I think we should read them while we're sucking on helium.
I'm in.
Are you into that?
Sure.
This is a first for the podcast.
Well, I'm happy to be a part of it.
Ahu's blowing up some helium balloons. There's one for Dave Hill.
Thank
You have a fun name to say the whole name. Do a lot of people do that?
Literally everybody. When you said it, I was like, wow, he's already doing the thing that everyone does.
It's
my
fun.
My closest friends in the world.
Call you Dave Hill.
Everyone, aside from my immediate family,
does
it.
I like it.
Yeah, everyone does. It's like Dan Tana, the detective on Vegas. You never just say Dan.
I thought his first
name.
name was Dan Tana.
Yeah, everyone thinks my
Like
first name
Santana.
is Dave Hill.
Santana with a D.
Yeah.
Ow!
Oh my God!
Come on.
Oh.
Do you like that Santana song with Rob Thomas called Smooth?
If you would have asked me this question
20 years ago, you'd have said no.
I would have been like, no, it's horrible.
But now you like it, right?
I will say I still don't like it, but I am happy they did it, and I applaud them.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Van Halen with Sammy Hagar or David Lee Roth?
Well, of course, David Lee Roth, but
Sammy Hagar's grown on us, hasn't he? And current Sammy Hagar is killing it.
Listen, as a young man, if you wanted to get me fired up.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Talk
bro.
about Sammy Hagar.
Yeah.
But I read.
Recently, though, Sammy Hagar is crushing it at life.
Of course.
I mean, I follow him on Instagram, and I often have this thought, wow, Sammy Hagar looks good. And he's holding a
70 years
margarita.
old.
And he's 70.
I bet it would be super fun to go to his house.
Yeah. I want to hang out with Sammy Hagar. I'm putting that out there right now.
I do too. I want to hang out with him.
And Michael Anthony. They're having fun.
Totally. I
used to think it was Eddie Van Halen, but now it's like I want to hang out with Sammy Hagar and Michael
everything
Anthony.
I've heard.
No offense. I mean, Eddie Van Halen's the greatest of all time.
Oh, absolutely.
Come on.
Absolute genius. But
Genius.
everything I've heard, if you're going to hang out with any Van Halen members, you want to go Sammy and Michael.
I want to go Sammy and Michael.
I read Sammy Hagar's autobiography, Red, R-A-D.
Oh yeah,
and
I think I read that too.
Well, I
did read that, and it's good. Sorry, I keep interrupting.
No, it's good. Well, I read Crazy from the Heat, of course, because that's David Lee Roth's book, of course.
I don't think I read that.
Well, get on it.
I'd like to hang out with David Lee Roth too, to be honest.
I know some people who have. And
I think it would be weird, but
I think, and this is not a surprise, it seems like it would probably be a very not as fun hang as the Hagar hang.
Oh, I'm sure of that.
Like Hagar,
but it would be an interesting hang.
It would be. I think he's a genius.
Maybe more interesting than Hagar, not as fun.
Right. Oh yeah, I concur. And yeah, he's an amazing guy, and I think really living his life And Sammy Hagar, though, I read his autobiography because I was like, this is the only chance I'm going to get some inside scoop on Eddie Van Halen that I feel like is like a guy just telling what's going on.
What's up?
And so I read the book, and in the process of reading it, I was like, oh, Sammy Hagar is just living his life and doing what he wants to do, and he seems like a very positive guy. I don't have to listen to his records, and actually, I've had his tequila, and it's delightful.
Yeah.
And I applaud him for he made more money from that than he did from Van Halen, and he made a fuckload of money from Van Halen. So that makes me go like,
good business.
Hey, Dave, you're earning a middle class living as a comedian and musician and all that.
But the paramedic thing was pretty cool that he did that.
But I'm like maybe I got a Cabo Wabo in me. Is my point.
Yeah.
I'm like maybe I have a second act. Maybe I could get into the food and alcohol industry, and that would be my thing.
Good point. I'm getting into T-shirt design. This is my first one.
You hit it out of the park.
I really feel like I did.
I mean, do you promise you'll wear that until it gets like Andrew WK dingy?
That's a
which
weird
is a few days from
promise. Like all day, every day from now.
Well, his T-shirts don't look clean, and I'm a fan. Let me be clear. Never met him.
Andrew WK.
Yeah, but he seems like he doesn't wash his T-shirts.
Yeah, I guess,
but I think that's the aesthetic.
Yeah, that is the aesthetic. I don't promise that, Dave, but I do promise that I will wear it to lunch with my manager today.
Who's your manager? Is it must be a person of power?
Keith Hagen.
That sounds like, I don't know who that is, but they sound reputable.
He is reputable.
Yeah, he's got
Who else does he represent?
Afghan Wigs.
Toto, for instance.
I'm in.
Exactly.
Afghan
Johnny
Wigs,
Lang.
Greg Dooley, Johnny Lang.
I know.
I can get you a meeting.
I have a manager.
I'm sure.
I have two managers. I have a manager for
often they can be called damagers.
Different parts of the world. That's the kind of operation I'm running.
That's true.
Check
you go
one,
to
two,
Europe
one,
a lot
two.
to tour, don't you?
I do, because America's rejected me.
Yeah, I see
nah,
you
we're embracing you. How did you get into comedy? Like, you went from music to comedy, right?
Right.
And you made that leap. That was like a cool leap. How'd you do that?
By accident. I never really planned to become a comedian. I
want to become a comedian.
Everyone's doing it.
I know.
It's very true. Literally everyone's doing it.
It seems like a fun thing to do, and you don't have to pick.
Doesn't it go with the stage banter for comedians, for musicians?
Yeah. I mean, that was it. Like, because I played in bands, and then I started reluctantly singing in bands, and I would banter in between the songs, and I was like, oh, this is as much fun as the music part,
I enjoy that part.
You've done comedy on stage as a musician.
Yeah, but I always fall back on a sensitive song. Right. I wanna go without the net sometimes.
Oh no, but that's the power move. They're like, he's funny, and
okay.
I bet you. I mean, you.
So keep the thing on.
Oh my gosh, that's like a Jedi maneuver, basically. And now
this interview's made me pregnant.
I know, pregnant with possibilities. But like,
smart. He's an author. I mean, come on.
Well,
you write essays too.
My sister's a journalist, and she got me into. I started writing for the Cleveland Plain Dealer, and I realized like, I don't really care about anything but getting a couple jokes into this article. You know, I'd write like, there's a new sports bar that opened, and I would write like a profile on that, or I would go to like a Civil War reenactment. I was like, I guess soft news, human interest type things, and I would try to throw some jokes in, and so I was like, I like making jokes. And then friends,
so that's what got you into writing comedy,
right? Like friends who were
jokes
in New York, in LA, were doing stuff. They're like, hey, Dave's a bit of an idiot, why don't we let him write some jokes? So my friend Will Tanis was working on this show Reverb at HBO, so he got me writing some things for them. And then my friend John Kimbrough was doing the music for a show on Spike TV in 2003, and he's like, they have people come in and just come to the writers' meeting and submit jokes, and they give you some money. And so I was living in Cleveland at the time, and so he got me into one of these meetings, and they liked my jokes, and I never told them that I didn't live in New York, because I thought if they know that I live in Cleveland, they'll think, we can't tell them to come in next Thursday. So they were like, hey, do you want to come next week? And I'd be like, yeah, sure. So I would just buy the cheap Southwest tickets to Islip, Long Island, and I would
Take the
fly.
train from there.
Yeah, take the train hour or whatever it is, and I would go to these meetings, and in most cases, go home later that day or the next day. And I never told them. They're like, I guess he lives here.
That's
and then
funny as hell.
because
Islip. Who flies?
That's great.
well, because it was
funny.
cheap,
I
you could
know.
do it
I
on
know
like
that
5
airport.
minutes notice.
Yeah.
So
I know that airport.
so I because I thought like, well, I'm in Cleveland and I love Cleveland, but it's, you know, it's just I thought if I stayed in Cleveland, I was like, you know, I'm probably gonna kind of live on the fringes in this town and get invited to some nice Christmas parties with all you can eat shrimp, but I think the rest of my life's not gonna be that great if I stay here. And I wanted something to. So anyway, they're like, hey, can you just start full time Wednesday? And so I was like, see you Wednesday. And I happened to be in town when I got the phone call. And I
guess I'm not going home.
yeah, literally, I just had a duffel bag.
And then where'd you stay? Did you get an apartment?
My brother hooked me up with my friend Fran, who's no longer with us. She was in her 70s. She ran like a bed and breakfast up on the Upper West Side, and like it was super cheap and wonderful, and she was wonderful, and I would stay there when I was in town. And then so I just it was so cheap that eventually I was like, can I just pay for a room,
Right.
and you'll not let anyone else stay in it? And she did. And so I had an apartment here, but technically, I guess I had this little room. It was like servants' quarters of this big, sprawling place on the Upper West Side.
That's great.
And so I was like, okay, I live with you now. So I lived with my friend Fran, like 77 years old. And I just started this job. And then that show got canceled quickly. I started writing in VH1, and I was sharing a room with a friend of mine, Tony Carnevale, a writer, and he's like, I do
Tony
this show.
Carnevale.
Yeah. Who he's totally not that guy if you meet him,
Hey,
but he has that
Tony.
name.
Tony Carnevale.
He and another comedian, Sean Taylor, did a show in the back of Parkside Lounge on Houston, an attorney, and I went there, and he's like, do you want to just do our show? And I'd never done a comedy show before, so I was like, sure. So I just went over there, and I didn't have any jokes or anything. I didn't have an act. A lot of people would argue.
Got up and
a lot of people would argue I no
don't.
longer have an act. I still don't have an act.
Still don't.
Hey.
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 I couldn't even phrase the insult to myself properly. But
Yeah, you really are falling off, Dave Hill.
I know. That's too early. But
well, you're the one that wanted to do it this early. That's
I know.
why I'm so amped up, because I drank about 8 gallons of cold brew iced coffee.
I just couldn't. My nights. Anyway.
Okay.
But
so you fell into it.
So I did it. I just read like literally from my journal. I just printed out a page and read my diary basically.
Yeah.
And now I'm an
legit-
obscure,
Do you still do
Z-list
that?
celebrity.
Come
your-
on,
in your
quit
show?
being self-depreciating, because you're going to manifest that. You got to start manifesting other things.
I gotta manifest good. Yeah.
I'm into manifesting. Ho'oponopono. Do you know that? Ho'oponopono?
No, we gotta hang out.
I want to hang out with you. That's why I'm trying to
Hanging out
impress
right
you,
now.
Dave Hill.
I was already a fan.
Well, we're gonna.
I was already,
we're
like-
gonna be BFF now.
I was
I don't know
like-
about that. Might be too far, but we're gonna be friends.
I was
maybe it'll
I
go
was
somewhere.
like, he hangs out. Yeah, I'm not cool enough to hang out with.
Are you
Okay.
kidding? I thought that about you. See, guys, this is a lesson. You are good enough. No, Ho'oponopono is a Hawaiian prayer. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you.
Do I say that to me or you?
You just say it to everything, God, yourself. You imagine God saying it to you. You say it to everybody in your life.
If I honestly,
within
I might
within
start
yourself.
crying.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do a round of it. Ready?
What is it?
I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you.
I love you.
I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you.
I like this. I'm honestly getting a little watery because
yeah, well, it's powerful and it's meant to like empower you and there's a doctor called Dr. Hugh Lin who applied this to a whole psychiatric hospital for the criminally insane in Hawaii. He would just read their files. The concept is you take responsibility for everything that goes into your field of consciousness. Mm-hmm. So if somebody's abused you or traumatized you or wronged you in any way, you still take responsibility. You still like sweep that prayer over them, over everything. It clears out old negative programming and it allows you to live from inspiration rather than from memory, and so that you can start manifesting a greater version of reality rather than manifesting your same old reality over and over again. It's really powerful. And I've been practicing it a lot.
How often do you do it?
Every day, a lot. And I sleep, and I have like, there's mantras on YouTube. If you're not banned from YouTube, I don't know.
I'm not banned from YouTube. I'm only banned from one platform as today.
But you should look into it because it's real great.
I want
that one, EFT and NoFap. This is like your homework assignment.
Okay, I'm into them in that order.
Yeah.
No,
I get it.
No, I want
Me too, by the way.
I'm totally into. I'm on board.
Of course.
I do transcendental meditation.
Oh, you do?
And I find that to be very helpful.
Do you do that? Are you pretty disciplined with it, or is it?
I
sporadic?
need to get better, but I'm pretty good at it.
Yeah,
and
that's cool.
And it really, and you know, a lot of people stay away from it because it's expensive, and they're like, I don't want to spend this money. But my thinking was, if it works, the money will be worth it, and I won't give a shit. And if it doesn't work, I'll just write an essay about how much I suck at meditation, and I'll write off the expense.
Yeah.
That's
a good idea.
I can't lose with this. And
how'd you get into essay writing? Because your sister? Or?
My sister Miriam, really has been my whole family very supportive in different ways. But she especially was like, pardon?
That's very fortunate.
Well, I mean, definitely like in different ways is a key phrase.
Okay. I feel you.
But my sister, when I was sort of sleeping at my parents' house and sleeping at my sister's house when she still lived in Cleveland. She lives in Australia now. But she, and sort of the dawn of when people got the internet, and we didn't get it until like the late 90s.
When there was just AOL and Persian Kitty.
Yeah, you would get.
That?
I don't know. That sounds like
it's like the first
like
porn
an adult.
Site,
I was like,
yeah, it was just
like
pictures. It was just AOL and Persian Kitty. That's how I remember the internet.
So, like, we got AOL at her house. I was living with her. This is 20 years ago or whatever, and I didn't understand, neither of us understood that you would have more than one email address. We thought it's like having a landline. You have an email address for your home, right?
Yeah.
So we had just one email address, and we shared it, and we would check it like you would listen to the answering machine or whatever.
Right, okay.
So as a result, we were just reading each other's emails, like not in an invasive way, but in a way just, like, hey,
to make sure who's it for.
Carol's coming to town. She wants to grab lunch or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I would write these silly emails to friends, and she and her boyfriend at the time would read them for entertainment. And I wasn't saying any. I was just whatever. They were just. It was light. And so she's like, you should, have you thought of being a writer? Like, you could do this pretty easily. And so she got me into a pitch meeting at the Cleveland Plain Dealer where she was working as a reporter at the time. And that's how I started, as a journalist.
What's an essay? I know that's a weird...
Whatever you want it to be.
Is that it? It is, right? It's just, it's a certain length, though. It's not like an art...
I don't know.
What makes it an essay?
I tend to think it's just short form prose,
okay.
nonfiction prose. I mean, like, obviously, David Sedaris. does it pay by length? For some people.
I want to make a joke right now about the dildo.
I'm so impressed you didn't, but because yeah, I mean, in a time when journalism was a thriving occupation, sure, I think it would pay very well for some people. But yeah, but yeah, I was like, I mean, going back to being in New York, I think for me, being here, all of a sudden I was meeting people that were doing the things that I thought like, oh, maybe I could do that. So like, I started writing for this TV show, and I became friends with this guy, Stephen Sherrill, who had been a writer at David Letterman. And I was like, oh, this guy's sitting right here. He does this thing that I would dream of doing.
What, writing comedy?
Yeah, like he wrote for David Letterman, like one of my heroes.
Me too, big time.
And then like,
did you ever get on Letterman?
No.
I was on it as a musical
All
guest.
right.
I'm not trying to like brag. I'm just,
that's cool.
That sounded weird, right?
That's cool.
Joe was on it the day Dave announced that he was quitting.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we played Lou Reed's "Walk on the Wild Side."
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we're in the basement of Coney Island Baby, which is a Lou Reed song.
Ties in.
And
That's
your new
neat.
dog is named Lou after Lou Reed.
Oh, nice. I used to see him. I live in the West Village, and he lived in the West Village, and I would see him around all the time, like eating breakfast.
Yeah.
And he would always be dressed in a way where I'd be like, Lou, come on, put on some black leather. That's what the people want.
It was Tai Chi Lou.
Yeah.
More athletic.
Yeah, totally. He would be like wearing like a sleeveless sweatshirt.
But so you were going. So this guy was writing in comedy, David Letterman.
Yeah, and and he was friends with David Rakoff, who was writing books of essays, and so I was like, I was a fan of David, and we became close friends, and so I was like, maybe I could write a book of essays, and
that's what led to it.
Yeah, and like, and then I was doing comedy, and all of a sudden, I was just kind of like, I'm just kind of impressionable, I guess. Like, if you like, I don't really bake, but if we were hanging out and you're like, hey, I'm just gonna throw some muffins in real quick.
Yeah,
I might be like, hey, maybe I could make muffins.
I know. Now you're like, maybe you can get into EFT and Ho'oponopono.
I think it's gonna happen.
Other than no fap, I think he could do it all.
What was the essay book about? Like, what were the essays?
First one?
Random essays, or just
the first book,
or just any of them?
The first. Well, I mean, interestingly, at least to me, is that the first two books. First book is called Tasteful Nudes. Still out. And then the next book is called Dave Hill Doesn't Live Here Anymore. And
I like that title.
In retrospect, or sort of as I finished them, they both absolutely sort of mirrored the arc of my therapy sessions. And I know that's like, some people are just cringing.
I'm not, but I'm getting inspired.
Like
some people's cringe is other people's
I would
inspired.
finish books and I would be like, oh my God, this is like, it is totally like a companion piece to my therapy.
So they would be personal kind of things?
Yeah,
Did you show them to your therapist?
Revelatory.
Pardon? Did you show them to your therapist?
Yeah, he's read both of them. I gave them to him not expecting him to, but he did. And not expecting, anyway, but the first one really deals with, it's sort of prolonged adolescence and sort of like, because I come from middle class Irish Catholic, which is why I was going to say that Ho'oponopono will never truly work on me because I'm Irish Catholic and we're impervious to any healing. But
really?
I don't think so. Not entirely, but a lot of things.
Why is that?
Because it's just the most damaging thing you can be, really.
Yeah, but Ho'oponopono is pretty wildly powerful.
I'm in.
If you're relentless about it.
I will be relentless.
This guy, Dr. Halen, healed a whole hospital of the criminally insane without seeing a patient, just by reading their files and saying the prayer. This is all documented. It's woo-woo
No,
as fuck,
I'm in.
But it's actually just go watch some Dr. Halen interviews.
I'm
on
in.
YouTube.
I'm in on all this.
Yeah. I just realized, too, we did this helium thing like 500 years ago, and people watching this are probably been anticipating us doing this the entire last like 30 minutes of this.
I know. Well, it's
that's
like
got to be like driving some people crazy. Like, when are they gonna do that? They've been sitting there holding these balloons.
it's like the power of a banjo on stage that never gets
like,
played. You know?
Yeah, it's like. So let's.
Wait, no. I gotta.
See, I tried to relieve your stress.
No, but I wanted to answer your question.
Okay.
My books. The first one's basically about. Not to spoiler alert, but my mother dies in the end.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because she died, and so I wrote about that. And it was a lot of us like sort of figuring out my relationship with her, and then in the aftermath of that, the next book ended up being about what is my relationship with my dad.
Wow.
After that,
is he still around?
Yeah.
What did he think of that?
He wrote, the first book I think had too much profanity for him. He's a gentleman, and would not be happy about my tweets, but he doesn't read them. And but the next one I know he read, and I made an effort not to swear as much in that one.
But I mean, did you talk about like being mistreated in any kind of way?
No, because I wasn't. My parents were awesome, and I was never
mistreated.
I mean, I think there's unintentional stuff where you're like, for me, like, because I come from, my dad was a lawyer, my mom, they're practical people who want you to get a job, that you will be okay and make a living. So, but I was always like, I want to draw and paint and write and play guitar solos, and now I tell jokes. Like when I became a comedian, they were like, oh God, this fucker is never gonna give in.
Yeah.
And but then that became the thing where like, oh, he makes a living now. So they're like, he's not calling asking for money anymore.
Right.
So I think they're like, that's cool. But
so the essays were quite serious then.
Well, I mean, no, there's a lot.
Not comedic.
They were. I mean, the idea would be that it would be enjoyable and hopefully there would be some laughs, but I could talk about serious things. But there's other stuff like, coincidentally, I talk about, I've done stand-up in prisons a number of times and played music in prisons. So the first book, I talk about performing at Sing Sing, and then
you did that.
The next book, I played guitar in a couple Mexican prisons. So weirdly, there's two essays about being in prison.
Oh, okay.
But
that's wild.
So there's weird parallels.
That's unusual for a comedian to be able to do stuff without irony, because I find that like most comedians, if they go into music, they usually have a sense of irony with it or something like that.
Well,
or like,
it was hard.
Or like writing essays or something, to be able to be a comedian and then also write serious essays. That's kind of like ambidextrous on some level.
I think with the comedy thing, it was hard because, when I started comedy, most of the musical comedy I was seeing was like 3 chords and a fart joke. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, there's some people that were doing, like, I think Tenacious D, I love them.
Right.
Flight of the Conchords, obviously.
Right, they're great.
They're great, but a lot of the stuff I was seeing, around town at the shows was just like silly
stuff.
And I genuinely love. I have great respect for the majesty of rock and roll and
of course,
the guitar.
You're good at it.
For a long time, I was like, how do I? Because then it's sort of like with comedy, it's like it's not funny to be good,
right?
But then one day, I started doing shows.
And you were using a loop, I saw on one show too, like Looper or something.
Yes.
Like really pretty guitar work.
I started to do that in lieu of, like, now, like, I love when there's a house band. Like, I'll do Wesley Stace's Cabinet of Wonders at City Winery. And gestured to
Ehud, Mr. City Winery.
Yeah, he's always on the bill.
Oh, really? What is that? What is that show?
Oh, you should totally do it.
A bunch of musicians doing covers and different arrangements.
I want to do it.
Yeah, but there's comedy and you'd be perfect.
Yeah, there's writers, there's comedians.
Let's do it next time. Let's do it as like BFF next time.
Totally, we should.
Maybe we'll do like one together.
Yeah, totally.
Let's do like a riff off Simon and Garfunkel or some duo or something.
Yeah, like I've done, and I'll do shows with like Rhett Miller.
Oh, he's cool. I like Rhett.
And then I do Live from Here with Chris Thiele.
Shout out Rhett Miller.
Live from and like
really
playing
Chris Thiele.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
and
cool.
so, But all those shows, there's bands and people to play music with. So I started playing the guitar with those guys and telling my jokes. And then I realized, one way to be funny with guitar is just start right-hand tapping. And that's we get back to Eddie Van Halen.
Right back to where we began. Right back to Jackson guitars.
Yeah.
Right back to Charvel.
Yeah, it's all comes full circle.
Full
so
circle.
I realized, I was like, no, the joke is not being bad.
The joke's
it's being
good.
really good. And overplaying and being an idiot. And so that's kind of that's when I really started combining them. And I use the looper pedal when and there's not a band. I prefer there to be a band because it's more fun. But and then also, I've since opened for I opened for Broken Social Scene a couple weeks ago, and that was super fun. Opened for Ryan Adams a few years ago.
Doing like comedy and
just doing
guitar.
stand-up.
Right on. And you were in a band with
I opened
Moby,
for
right?
Snoop Dogg.
Were you in a band with Moby?
Yeah, we had a band called Diamond Snake.
Did you guys date?
We did.
Sorry. Sorry. I was just like, we can edit that out. Too.
No, you don't have to edit it out.
All right.
I know what I'm like.
I might want to edit
Name
that one.
checking.
You're also a big metal dude, right?
The biggest.
So
wait, before we go to metal, can we do this thing? Because I'm sick of
we
holding
got
this
to. My
thing,
balloon's
and it's
almost out.
but I do want to talk about metal.
Please.
Huh?
I could do that all day.
The helium questions.
No, we're doing it with. Oh, we could do. Should I do helium questions? Now let's do I want to do this with the pick a card. Okay,
do we have
so
is this enough?
I'm gonna give you more as we go.
More helium. Okay, thank
not
you.
enough.
pick a card, then suck the helium, and then read it, and then we interpret it.
Wait, pick the card, suck the helium. Okay.
And then read it.
Sensitivity. You're becoming more sensitive and need to make changes accordingly. It's not wrong.
What do you think it means?
I can't tell. It's okay. It's going away.
Suck more helium, I guess.
Okay. Well, I read the card. Do I just comment on it?
Yeah, comment on it. What do you think it means?
I think I am becoming more sensitive, but not in a damaging way. I think in a way that can hopefully enhance my life and the life of others. That's the hope.
That's great.
You will see.
Yeah. All right, I'm picking.
I'm
picking a dragon. We shouldn't suck too much helium because I heard it's dangerous. Actually.
Is it?
Yeah, I did Google it right before the interview. All right, here we go. I'm doing a dragon card.
He just Googled it as Dave was sucking on helium.
Is this like whippets? I've never done whippets.
Protected. You are safe and supported while you change your career.
Wow. That's pretty intense for the fact that I'm just starting a podcast.
It is.
And I am sitting here feeling like a little bit like nervous. Like, am I saying weird things? Are people? And I got a controversial comedian on.
I'm not.
Okay, I know.
If
but
mother jokes are controversial,
I'm hyping you up on that level.
Thank you.
But like,
just say I'm a nice.
You are. You're
young
beautiful.
Man.
You're great. I'm fully supporting you.
Best.
Dave is the best. I agree. All right.
You guys are the best.
Oh wait, Ahu, go. You go.
My card is options. Consider the career possibilities that are open to you all the time.
I feel like
that
dude,
fits.
can we high five?
Yeah.
These are cool cards.
Yeah.
I know. Now we're gonna do dragon cards.
All right.
I might need.
Options are good.
He's got a new balloon.
I got a new balloon.
I think I need a new balloon.
Just finish that and I'll give you a new one.
I need a new balloon. That sounds like it could be
Wasteful.
another mantra thing. Like
I need a new balloon. I need a new balloon.
I like that.
I need a new balloon. All right, Dave Hill, pick a dragon card.
is it giving you guys a headache or is that psychosomatic?
Didn't give me one.
I'm about to find out.
Golden Atlantean Dragon. helps you remember the wisdom of golden Atlantis. Awaken, bring back your knowledge, gifts, and talents. Reclaim your mastery. I'm totally in.
Yeah.
I like this dragon.
Yeah, dude.
It's a pretty cool dragon.
That is cool, dude.
I gotta say,
These cards work, man. I'm telling you, it's.
Where do you get these?
I'll show. We'll go
Like
like on
a
our
cool-
first bro date.
We got to. I could see getting on like a bi-weekly bro day with you.
I'm down.
Like,
Did
you
you use
busy?
the word "buy" on purpose, or
you tell me.
okay? All right, here I go. Wait, well, I want to talk more about your card, though. What it is?
Oh.
Let's like. What did you think it meant?
With helium, I say.
Yeah.
I think it means sort of what you're saying. Go get on the positive wave instead of crashing into the sand.
Yeah.
And
man.
Rise like a phoenix rather than dispersing like dust.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
That was nicely put. Really nice.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, man.
Dispersing is probably a better word than
Did you ever
that.
read this book called "The Obstacle Is the Way" about Stoicism? You ever
No.
check out? It's a great book. "The Obstacle Is the Way." I recommend it highly, and it's all about the Stoics. And it talks about you can change any situation that's adverse. You can turn it into a positive. Like there's always an opportunity in anything that happens to you. If you really like frame it in a different way, you can always use it as a leap off to positivity.
Totally. That's a good thing to remember.
Yeah.
I want to say what's the mantra that we're gonna do all the time? The one
Ho'oponopono.
Ho'oponopono.
I'll send you some links.
I love you. I'm sorry. I
Please
forgive you.
forgive me. Thank you.
I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
Thank you.
So,
I love you. I'm sorry.
I
Please.
had this weird thing a few years ago, and unfortunately, it hasn't entirely stuck. But I remember it as being profound at the time and being just like, whoa. I was in Australia doing the Melbourne Comedy Festival, and you've been to that side of the world.
Oh, only like once.
But you-
or maybe twice.
But the jet lag.
Oh yeah,
is
it's
fucking
insane. Oh yeah. And
So
yeah.
it puts you in this sort of state that's bonkers.
I mean, I got jet lag when I go to L.A.
I do too, actually. I
Yeah,
get more jet lag than when I go to London. I'm
I-
totally fine.
I'm not fine anywhere. I don't believe when people say I never get jet lag. I think that's I can't imagine.
No,
it.
I do. But going to like Asia or Australia
Yeah, it's just absurd.
totally messes me up. But I was in Australia like a few years ago, and the whole time I was just like,
Yeah.
I'd wake up, do the shows, and go back. And I was lying in
Yeah, I've been there.
in my apartment there. I don't have the apartment they
Right.
put me in, whatever. And I remember just being like, kind of in this sort of like twilight, and like all of a sudden I heard this voice go, like I was just sort of like thinking of all these things, and heard this voice just go, "I love you," and I was like, well, who is that? Like, who said that?
Yeah.
And then I had the realization, like, wait, I said that.
Wow.
And then I had this and this is all in this sort of like, I wasn't like awake, you know what I mean?
Dreamy.
And I had this vision of like this shadowy figure that had been like cornering me at all times, just kind of getting in my face constantly, just being like stepping away and being like, thank you, I'm so tired and I'm so glad to have rest.
Wow.
To this figure being like, I don't have to fucking attack you.
Oh my God.
And it
That's
lasted.
heavy.
It lasted for a couple hours, and then he came back. No, but I remember it made me realize
Yeah.
the possibility of that, and
it's
I've
powerful.
and I've had similar. I certainly have experienced joy and happiness and all that in my waking hours, but never, when I'm asleep, I have dreams where I feel just glowing, profound joy.
Yeah.
And and I was like, I'm like, oh, I know I have the capacity. I've felt it, just never when I was awake.
Yeah.
At least not in the last 20 years.
Really?
No, I mean,
you don't get joy very often.
I do, but I think I run. Like a lot of us in the arts, I run. I've have a lot of experience. Not bragging. With clinical depression and anxiety and
yeah.
all
Isn't
those.
that weird that you'd have to clarify that that's not a brag? Even
Well, I feel like
'Cause of,
we
like-
live
no,
in a
it's true.
time when it's like
it's cool. To,
I have this wrong with me, I have that, and
Yeah.
not diminishing anyone's pain, but I think that
yeah, we live.
sometimes things are spoken of in a way that's
Well, people are get rewarded for being victims in this culture.
right, and I don't
That doesn't
diminish anyone's pain.
Exactly, it doesn't delegitimize.
But yeah,
the fact
it
that
is
some
sort
people
of
are very
like-
much victims and everything like that.
But I think as a result, I really have to stay on things like meditation, running, getting sleep.
I absolutely have made that my priority over the last 3 years specifically.
Which part?
My state. Like that is like before 3 years ago, my priority was career. I'm gonna make it. I came in second, and my ambition came in first, and then it led to a complete breakdown on a lot of levels in my life, and since then I'm every day to me is about my state. Like I take care of that like for 2 hours. The first thing I do, meditation, mantras, some form of exercise, getting myself.
You're in very good shape.
Thank you. And I work very hard at it.
Well, a lot of people are noticing.
Well,
I feel like
I post.
speak. Anyone seeing you in that T-shirt, there's no.
You're just trying to manipulate me into keeping this T-shirt on, Dave.
I just think it fits great.
Thanks.
Well, you do like some strength training. It looks like.
I box. I
See?
box and I do yoga.
I just running and kettlebell. That's it.
Yeah.
And I'm not bad.
Yeah. Well, you seem like you're in good shape too.
I'm in better shape
You
than I
look good.
was. I
bet
made
you
an
like we're
effort.
the same age. I feel like.
Probably we can't say because we're in show business.
No, let's not say. I mean, we're both 27, right?
Forever.
Okay, here we go.
White gold dragon from Lyra connects you to the highest Christ light. Develop your casual chakra. Bathe in the ninth dimensional Christ light.
Man.
That I feel like mine pulled it in at the end and was like, I'm like, oh yeah, okay. But yours, I feel like I'm still not sure what you just said.
I don't know either.
Having nothing to do with the helium.
Bathing in Christ light. Go for it. I'm done sucking on
Christ
helium
like?
after the
Christ-
Christ light.
Oh.
Bathe in the Christ light.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That I got the same one I got the other day, the Omega Dragon, so I don't know about that. Harness the divine feminine power of creation.
Yeah.
Get in touch with your feminine side, I
This
guess.
is the second time I
You
got
gotta
it,
be in touch
so,
with your
yeah.
feminine side.
I feel like that is going to look really good in that camera, by the way.
I think so.
That balloon went right to that
I'll
camera.
make sure to go to it when I edit.
Okay, thank you.
You know what's it's interesting the things that we're talking about. I feel like there are a lot of there's all these different ways to the same. It's the same. You're trying to get to the same place. Like I read. Did you read that book, The Power of Now?
Oh yeah, I'm into all kinds of books like that, like
So-
all that.
I really.
Eckhart Tolle, he's such a genius.
Yeah, and like
He's incredible.
my buddy Phil, we were in Germany doing the Wacken Festival last summer. Speaking of metal,
Which friend?
Oh, okay, yeah, we can go
the
to metal.
Wacken Festival.
Eckhart Tolle
What
and metal. They
friend
go
were
to
you there
hand in
with?
hand.
Pardon?
What friend were you there with?
My friend Phil Costello. We have this band called Witch Taint, and
Is
it's a
that
comedy
That's current, right?
slash current. Yeah,
Current metal.
yeah, and
face makeup and all, if I recall?
yeah.
Oh, really? What
But-
kind of metal? Like, what's the closest?
Ostensibly the most extremely extreme Norwegian black metal band from Gary, Indiana of all time.
Really?
Probably.
Like super hardcore, like.
No, it's
But
not
it's
really
not
when
meant,
you hear
it's
it.
not that I'm insinuating. It's not meant as like a Tenacious G, like
D.
Funny stuff. It's serious songs, serious. All
No,
the
no.
way? Oh, it's not.
It's
It's
funny.
funny?
It's total. The origins of Witch Taint.
It's a funny name.
It goes like in 2000, like early.
I'm surprised they didn't ban him for that name.
I know, right?
Early 2000, I was like, you know, I was into Norwegian black metal and things like that, you know. And it was a time like now I feel like black metal is like in the pop culture zeitgeist and all that, and it has been for a while.
Did you really
now.
like it, or were you being subversive?
I think some of the bands, you know, I still love Dark Throne. I think there's some great bands doing it, but most, you know, probably a lot of it I don't care for. Some are great, like Dark Throne just put out a great new album last week, and have many great albums. But I like anything, whatever the thing is, whether it's that or a painter or a comedian or whatever. Anyone who's like pushing something to the extreme and is passionate and just taking something to some other place, I'm into it. So I was fascinated with that. You know, I read that Lords of Chaos book when it came out, and obviously I don't.
That's about death metal.
Black metal.
Black metal. Sorry. What's the difference between like death metal? But
How much time do you have?
not much.
Basically, death metal, even though there's 70 different kinds, is gore, and black metal is Satan. There you go.
Oh, really? So black metal's into Satan?
Yeah. But I
What's
was
King Diamond?
awesome.
I think so too.
I mean,
By
the
the way,
first
I
two
like-
if you go King
Yeah,
Diamond,
King Diamond was amazing,
I've
and
still-
genuinely scary, like back then, right?
Oh, yeah, but
like,
but those-
actually scary.
those first two, especially Merciful Fate albums, are excellent. And
yeah.
and you go see him now, and it's like, I think it should be on Broadway. It's such a great performance. But
Is he still performing?
totally,
Really?
yeah.
Maybe on our second bro date. First bro date we go to East West Bookstore. Second bro date we go to a King Diamond show.
That's my
And
friend.
then that
Bill-
way we have all the bases covered.
my
I feel
friend Bill Dolan, who's a very dear friend of mine at this point, we had a bro date early in our friendship. We went to see King Diamond. Nothing solidifies a friendship like a King Diamond concert.
See, I picked up on that on an intuitive level.
So, but Witch Taint, going back, so years ago, I started emailing, I guess, a history of trolling or whatever. I started emailing like Norwegian black metal bands and stuff, claiming to be this teenager in Indiana with a band called Witch Taint, and I live with my mother, and I was like, we are the most extremely extreme band, and I ended up emailing this Norwegian black metal record label, and they replied, and they were like, you know, and I was just like, you can't handle the email. If you go to the blackmetaldialogues.com, you can read all these emails. So
A
It
site
w-
we visit regularly.
Yeah.
it
I'm
would
going to start to.
you if you know, I don't. It may be my greatest achievement.
What, Witch Taint?
Those emails.
Those emails.
You emailed them asking to put out your music.
Yeah, which didn't exist.
Is anyone else having problems putting thoughts together since you sucked helium?
I'll say
I feel a little weird.
I definitely don't want to do it again.
I'm definitely not doing it again for a while. And I'm
Um,
going to research it more.
yeah, it'd be no FAP, no
So,
helium.
yeah.
So I started emailing this guy, and it went on for 6 months, and I made a demo with my friend John Kimbrough and sent it, and it's horrible, the longest 3.5 minute song you'll ever hear. And it went on, and then, you know, I was showing a couple friends these emails, because at the time, like, now I was like, no one even knows or cares what black metal is in America. And then once the emails ran their course, a friend of a friend, Jeff Watson, wanted to build this website of all the emails. And the emails are not like, if they were me, like, oh, look at what a jerk this guy is, or an idiot. That's not what the emails. Emails
Not
are
mean-spirited.
No, it's more like, look how patient this Norwegian black metal record label owner is being with this idiot. So
You should make this a book of essays and write some essays around it about metal, and then incorporate the emails.
I
within
want
it.
to. Well, so then a couple years ago, so the website went crazy for a while, and like I started making T-shirts, and I would sell them sporadically, like all over the world. And then like a couple years ago, my friend Trish Nelson was like, "Why don't you read the emails on stage?" And so my friend Phil Costello and I started doing that, and then we did
How'd
it.
that go over?
It was instantly like people were into it, and then we did it at South by Southwest a couple years ago, and I thought like, well, who's gonna come to this? Like, we'd only done it like twice in New York at St. Vitus, and they had asked me to do stand up, and I was like, yeah, can I do stand up one night and do Witch Taint another? And like, yeah. And then my friend Sheila Kenny got the Awesome Chronicle to write an article about the show, and like, so Phil and I are putting our corpse paint on in the hotel and all this stuff, and we're walking to the theater where this show's little black box theater, the Hideout, and we're like, oh, there's maybe like 10 or 20 people, and then we'll just go grab a drink after, it'd be fun. And there's a line down the block, and we genuinely like, what's going on here tonight?
Right.
Like, because we thought they must have a big room and a little room, because
Right.
like this must be for another show. And we walked up the back of the line, so no one saw our faces. We just kind of walked in. We're like, no one said anything. Like, and then, so it was totally sold out.
How'd that happen?
I guess people saw the article and thought it was interesting.
If you build it, they will.
And so we did it, and we came back and did it here. We did it in London, and then we got asked to do it. And I'd been doing comedy shows in Norway for a few years, and there's a great festival, the Crap Comedy Festival, which I had done before. And they were like, "Do you want to
Crab or crap?
Crap?"
Crap.
And which might mean something else in Norwegian, or it might not. Probably. And so they had us do it there, and that was kind of like doing it in the belly of the beast, like going back to
to where it all began.
And by this time, I'd become friendly with Fenris from Dark Throne, and I knew some of the guys in this scene, and a handful of them came out. And Fenris is like, kind of like the Godfather, or the living Godfather.
He's the Keith Richards of
black metal,
black metal,
basically. And we're backstage, and the producer of the festival is like, I just got to, and he's like a famous guy in Norway. They're like, Fenris is apparently in the front row, and I was like, oh shit, the jig is up. Like, he's gonna hate this, and I'm gonna be really bummed out because I want him to like it. And he loved it and was really laughing, and I was like, and that made me feel good, be like, oh, see, like, this is a positive show, which I think, it's not making fun of black metal.
Yeah. It's celebrating.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and then we got asked to do it at the Wacken Festival, which is the biggest.
Did you see the makeup, Joe?
No. Oh, man. Okay, that is King Diamond-like.
Oh, totally.
King Diamond-esque.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
that's pretty funny.
But we did it at Wacken, which is, there's 100,000 people at this festival.
But even Satan is a pussy. That's funny.
There you go.
I actually think that's true in real life. I think the devil needs you to be weak in order to really get to you. If you're strong, the devil is weak.
Absolutely. I mean, that goes for everything.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
But we did it. We're doing it in Germany, and they gave us our own little like comedy tent, and there's people from all over, primarily Europe, and we're looking, and it's English as a second language for a lot of them, and like, so we're like, oh, these people over here are laughing, these people here look really confused, and it was not easy, and especially you're doing it while like a metal band is playing at full volume 100 yards away or whatever, and then after when we had incorporated some songs we had written into the show by this point, and when we would play the songs, the whole place would go nuts. So after we did the show for 4 days, but after the second day, we were like, "Fuck it, we're just being a band," and eventually we'll combine the two things. But and also the thing, like, because I'm a musician and a comedian, people would see the ads when we would do the email show, the comedy show in New York, and be like, "Oh, that's a band." And then they would see the photos, and then they'd see my guitar. They're like, "It's a band." And I'd be like, "No, it's not. It's a comedy show." So even on a flyer, it was hard to convey. So we were just like, let's go Path of Least Resistance and be the most satanic metal band of all time. But it is totally like a super fun.
When's the next gig? When's the next
June 29th
in New York?
At St. Vitus, yeah.
I'm coming for sure. Let's go.
It's
Wanna
honestly,
go?
I have to say, you'll have a really nice time.
I can't wait.
And it's not.
I got it because I'm sort of in the dark with what you're talking about because I haven't seen.
It makes no sense until you see it.
Didn't go this
and
far.
then when you see it, you're like, I can't unsee it.
I want
to see it again.
I want to see it.
It's super fun.
All right, well, we got to wrap this up.
We got to
soon.
wrap it up.
But I want you to pick. What do you want to be, the lion or the bull? This is another segment we're starting on this podcast with you.
I gotta go. I think lion, maybe.
I was hoping you would say that. Because this one, the mouth moves.
Oh, I'm in.
And I think
and that looks like my sweet dog Lucy a little bit.
I think the idea is we just ask each other, we interview each other as a lion and a bull. My mouth moves too.
It does.
How's that look, Ehud?
Good. Get the mic in there.
Hello.
It's hard to see you.
It is hard to see.
But I trust that you're there.
I trust that you're here.
I can see your feet.
I gotta think of a question to ask you though. Or do you want to ask me a question as a lion to a bull?
What do you do for yourself, like to relax?
I like to impale matadors.
I love when a matador gets impaled.
I love impaling matadors.
They're asking for it.
They're asking for it, and let's see.
I think anytime you fuck with an animal and it kills you, you were asking for it.
You deserve it, yeah.
Or gores you.
What do you think happens after you die?
In my experience of having been on the other side of it, there'll be a lot of cookies and sandwiches for the people you left behind. I think in the experience, when my mother died, I felt I feel like your energy, however you want to look at it, your energy or your spirit remains. So, and you're connected to the people you love.
Do you still have a connection with your mom?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Conscious
it's conscious, unconscious, and powerful, yeah.
How does she communicate to you?
I have dreams, that I wake up crying from.
Wow.
And it's interesting when I started having them. And I also had, like, one time at acupuncture, I felt like this hand on my leg, and I thought it was the acupuncturist, and but I could hear her on the other side of the room, so I was like, did you have your hand on my leg, and were there two people in here? And she's like, no. Anyway, and I say this stuff, and some people they're like, oh, you're imagining it, but
I don't think so.
After my mom died, I was like, grieving for a very long time.
Yeah.
And still am in some ways, but you guys are still here, right?
I'm here.
But I was talking about these experiences with, I was like doing everything. I was like talking to my therapist. I was seeing like a holistic homeopath or whatever, and they were both like, oh, this is energy. And my therapist had never said anything metaphysical, spiritual, or anything, and then he was like, no, we're not talking about subconscious. This is real energy. Like, I think you should see these visitations as real. And the holistic guy was like, or homeopath, I don't know which.
That's cool that
he was
your
one of the
shrink
two.
said that.
Yeah, he was like, oh, we're not on the subconscious anymore. And then
That's wild.
the other dude was like, however you want to look at it, whether like from quantum physics or string theory or, you know, spirituality or however, he's like, when your energy is so intertwined and connected, like you're going to be connected beyond the physical realm. So that's what I think happens.
That's beautiful.
It's pretty cool.
It is.
I mean, it makes me not... I certainly don't want to lose people, and I'm not crazy about the idea of dying, but it makes me fear neither.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not really afraid either. I feel like it's easier to lose people in life than in death in some ways. And then
Yeah.
you almost maybe sometimes regain people in death, if that's
Yeah.
not too weird a concept.
No, I think absolutely. Like my mother, in a weird way that I'm sure people would be like, oh, that some people would be like, oh, that's fucked. But in a way, I became closer to her
In death.
in death because it was no longer about picking up the phone or visiting each other or anything
Yeah.
like that. It was like, well, or if anything, it makes you realize you're always together with the people that you love and the people that you're connected with. It's in the same way, you know, like good friends.
Yeah.
You can, you know, my closest friends in the world, sometimes I don't see people for like years. And
Yeah.
then you hit the ground running and no time is lost and no apology is needed for not seeing each other, you know.
And also whatever personality disorders develop in life, they go away in death, and then you're just with the person's pure spirit and essence.
Yeah, you'd be like, you know, Dave can no longer take the last slice of pizza.
Exactly. Well, I think that's a good place to end it.
We're not taking these masks off, though.
Really? Should
No.
we just end with the mask on?
No, let's take them off.
Let's
because
take them off.
I didn't shower. Can you
Neither did
tell?
I. You look beautiful, Dave.
I texted Ehud and asked him whether there was going to be cameras because I think there's cameras, but
yeah, we wanted it to be a TV show.
otherwise I was gonna wear you know, like my tracksuit.
That'd have been okay too.
Um,
But you look real cool.
no, this is honestly, I picked it up off the floor, but I guess I like go put on like some genuine clothes as opposed to
A
going-
tracksuit.
A tracksuit. Because I thought maybe I'll put on a tracksuit and run over here, because it's like a mile from my house.
That's a good.
And
I went
I'll-
on a little run before this.
And I was like, and then maybe I'll take a loop around and figure a way to do like a few more miles on the way home.
Third bro date, we go on a run.
I'm in. If not, it's not a competition. How far do you run when you run?
Usually my normal is about like 3 to 4 miles. I don't like go crazy.
That's what I do.
Yeah, this is really working out.
And do you do fast pace or just
No.
leisurely?
I'm like not trying to be a hero with the run.
Same.
I'm just trying to get some oxygen and start my engine for the day. That's it.
That's what it's all about.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing this.
Thanks for having me.
You're
and-
really,
and
really cool, man. Appreciate
you are too.
you.
I'm glad we're on
bros
the path
now.
to being
We're bros.
super bros.
It's official.
And
everybody, free Dave Hill, free speech, y'all. Come on.
I could see getting to a place with you where we just text each other like, "Hey, just checking in."
We gotta exchange numbers and text.
Already connected, you guys.
Oh,
Okay,
this is
cool.
So you did via text? Oh, it's my phone's been going off. I should have turned it off, but now that I know what was happening,
Thanks, Ehud.
yeah, Ehud.
Wonderful producing, producing, camera work.
Editor.
You have
so-
a camera on you, right?
Support. No, but we need one. We need one on
We're
him.
waiting
I've been
for
saying
some,
that the entire
financial
time.
support to buy a fourth
Yeah,
camera.
so support us on Patreon,
Patreon.
please.
Listen on
Like
Spotify.
and subscribe on
iTunes,
YouTube and share
watch
it. We
on
need
YouTube.
support, y'all.
Yeah,
And
do,
also,
do that for my podcast.
let's do this
too.
for Dave Hill. What's your podcast?
I have two. I have Dave,
Dave
Hill's
Hill.
Podcasting Incident and Dave Hill History Fluffer.
Nice.
Both on all the platforms and Patreon.
Support Dave Hill.
And please pre-order my new book, Parking the Moose. It's about
Nice title. I should
Canada. It's about
have got a moose mask had I known.
I'll get you a copy of the
next
book
time. I'd love that.
And
when is it coming out?
It comes out October 8th, and it's about my explorations. I spent the last 2 years exploring Canada, trying to connect with my roots. My
Essays
grandfather.
again.
It's more of a travelogue, sort of. Bill Bryson type. It's different
cool.
from my other books,
Neat.
but hopefully good.
I'm going to check that out.
We should also mention Valley Lodge has a new album out.
Oh, yeah. Valley
Lodge.
Excellent power pop band.
Thank you. Yeah, we have a new album out, Fog Machine, on TP Records. My other band, Painted Doll, we have a record out on TP Records.
See how hard it is to do research on Dave Hill? He's got so many things.
We start a new Painted Doll record next week. It's me and Chris Ryford from Autopsy, speaking of death metal. And then the Witch Taint record will be out hopefully soon.
St. Vitus, June 29th.
St. Vitus, June 29th. All right, y'all. That's a wrap. Thanks for tuning in. See you later.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for doing it.